There are a lot of obvious similarities between Kochi and Malacca, the main point being both of them were conquered by the Portuguese in the 1500s. Kochi in 1503 and Malacca in 1511. Later on in the period of history, the Dutch came to Malacca first in 1641 and they only arrived in Kochi in the 1650s. The Brits successfully wrestled Fort Kochi from the Dutch in 1795 and they stayed on all the way up to India's independence in 1947. So if you look at the heritage, the buildings in the old town of Fort Kochi, you do see a lot of similarities with Malacca in Malaysia. Hey you, welcome and welcome back to my YouTube channel, and this is the second city I've ever stepped foot in India. Well, after Jaipur, I'm now in Fort Kochi. There are so many lovely foodie haunts for you here in Fort Kochi, and today I'm checking out this place. It's a cafe, it does serve food, and it's called KASHI Art Cafe. There are two extreme ends to the food and beverage scene in Fort Kochi. On one hand, you have the really posh and swanky restaurants in the Swiss hotels, and on the other hand, you have the roadside shacks. As far as the latter is concerned, I've no problem whatsoever with them. I've eaten there and it's pretty safe. And then you have the hipster, trendy cafes like this one. It's a late-ish kind of breakfast for me here in KASHI Art Cafe, and to kick it off, well, here's my iced coffee with coconut and honey, and let me tell you, it's yummy. I can't exactly remember what happened. Either they ran out of appam or I'm a bit too late for appam, or maybe they serve it much more earlier on in the morning. But anyway, I found the manager. I spoke to him, a very nice guy, and he managed to convince the kitchen staff to whip up an appam with vegetable stew for me. So this is my appam, or also known as idiyappam, and it's made from rice flour made in a traditional steamed cooker. In KASHI Art Cafe, they serve the appam with a bowl of vegetable stew. Here it is. Well, I find it to be a little bit too watery to my liking and not savory enough for my taste buds. Oh well, let's just dip into it. The Kerala version of the appam is very identical to that in Sri Lanka. The difference is, in Sri Lanka, they use yeast to ferment the batter. Meanwhile, in Kerala, they use the palm toddy or something called kalu to ferment the batter which they use in the appam. Wait a minute, let me find an interesting angle to take a picture of this iced coffee of mine. Now, how's this for a creative position? You will find a lot of interesting sculptures here and works of art in the KASHI Art Cafe. It's definitely a very, very Instagrammable place. There is always a beautiful piece of artwork screaming out for your attention from one corner of this cafe or another. Amongst the paintings, the print works and the sculptures, I still love the sculptures the most, especially the human sculptures because they're so lifelike. Just before I settle my bill and step out of KASHI Art Cafe, let me show you the rest of the cafe and have a little wander about. Come and join me. Wrapping up this segment on my YouTube channel, I'm Gobble Guzzle and signing off for now. I'll see you again on my next episode, also in KOCHI. Until then, always be kind and spread the message of peace. Jumpa lagi. Bye-bye.